The end of September in Seaside, and the game's starting to mean just a little bit more. By definition, it's not a must-win, but it's not far off for Monterey Bay tonight. They welcome Sacramento Republic to Cardinale Stadium. Republic on the verge of clinching a playoff spot. With Jeff Passanella, Mike Watts on hand, take a look at the Western Conference standings. Tulsa is the only team that has clinched to this point out west. Sacramento, with a win and the right confluence of results, could do so tonight as well. Monterey Bay sits 6 points beneath the line, but they've played more games than anybody in the West. Now, Jeff, as I turn to you, this matchup, along with Oakland, creates this great NorCal existence in USL Championship. The Helicup may already well be decided. It depends who you ask.
Well, with the Helicup, what you get is competition that means more to the fans, that means more to the players on the field. Because when you're talking about the regional games, these are ones that give you bragging rights for the fan bases. As somebody that played in the Cascadia Cup for years, these games just mean a little bit more. When you talk about Monterey Bay's record, you talk about where Sacramento is in the standing, you throw those out when you play these NorCal rivalry games, and I expect that to be a high-flying action because of it.
And you can expect Russell Cicerone's up for that challenge.
Absolutely. 3 goals in his last 3 matches. In Sacramento, he is the leading goal scorer with 8 on the season, and he is such a dynamic player. He's somebody that can create for himself. He's good in the air. He's good on crosses. He can hit from distance. And especially for Monterey Bay, they're going to need to keep their eyes on him tonight because he is playing at such a high form, and his momentum and the way that he's playing right now can carry this team into the playoffs, as it preferably they can go on a deep run.
They're hoping to catch the #1 seed, and they hope to win the Jaeger Cup next Saturday. Conversely, for Monterey Bay, if there's a positive to take right now, they finished 3 of 4 at home, and they've been very good here in Seaside.
They're a different team in this stadium. It's the way that they start games, and it's really the way that they're able to sustain the games when they're playing at home. They're high-flying, they're better with the ball in possession, and it has been a difficult place for opponents to come in and get results. So for Monterey Bay, it's a place that they're very comfortable, and they should have some success with it tonight.
Shout out to the goalkeeper union, Jeff. Nico Campazano tied for the most saves in the league.
74 saves in the season. He's had to be busy this season because the way Monterey Bay has been playing, but he has been up to the task. He's a big goalkeeper. You can see on the screen right now, big wingspan, big body, able to make those big-time saves, and he's also good with his feet. He's a solid leader for this young back line. So watch for him tonight to not only take command of his group, but then be called on to make these big-time saves against the dynamic offense that Sacramento has.
All right, so we're in for a hella good time tonight. Sacramento Republic, 1 loss since June 18th. Monterey Bay has not won in their last 9. Throw it all out tonight. It's Sacramento Republic and Monterey Bay. Lineups and kickoff when we come back.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
At Taylor Farms, our goal is to create healthier lives by creating healthy, fresh foods. A stronger community is a win for everyone. That's why each time the Monterey Bay Football Club scores a goal, Taylor Farms will donate $500 to a local nonprofit. Healthy goals, healthy lives. A more perfect union. We are Union!
They take the field at Cardinale Stadium. 3 more home games for Monterey Bay. They'll need to win them all at this point to have a real shot at the postseason. Sacramento win tonight, and the right confluence of results, they could. For Neil Collins.
Bennett up top, he's going to provide something a little bit differently than they've had. He's a change to the lineup from the last game. We've spoke about Cicerone, but then Lopez playing a little bit underneath. Look for them to make these dynamic runs, and those front 3 are going to make those runs in behind that really create those chaotic moments for the Monterey Bay defense. And then the back line also for Sacramento this year has been very solid. So it's a very difficult team to break down, but for me, keep an eye on that front 3 and how dynamic they're able to work with each other.
So Sacramento, a 3-game week and a 6-game month of October upcoming. This the best 11, Neil Collins says, to try and win the game here tonight. So it is a significant matchup for both sides on opposite ends of the Western Conference standings this evening. There's the opening whistle and the opening kickoff. Sacramento away to Monterey Bay tonight. 4 games remaining for Monterey Bay. Probably need perfection and a lot of help. Sacramento, for the first time in months, if not the entire season, in control of their destiny with Tulsa's loss earlier tonight. If they win out, they would be the #1 seed in the West.
Well, that just speaks to the rhythm of form that they've been able to provide ever since Neil Collins took over the job. They've gotten into really good form, collecting points every opportunity that they can, and especially against a team like Monterey Bay, they're going to look at this as an opportunity to get those 3 points and get themselves back in control of their own destiny.
Jack Gurr throws it in. Floated over Nolati. And an early tie-up. And the referee's saying, I don't like giving cards less than a minute into the game. And that's Monterey Bay's argument. A card is a card, isn't it?
It did look like it could have been a little bit of tactical there, but I really think in that one it was just the ball that was a little bit loose, 2 players going for it. I appreciate the referee not wanting to pull out a yellow card here in the first minute because of the way that dictates a change of game, but if there is another foul to be had there, I'd expect the ref to go to the pocket.
Corbin May, our referee here tonight. Luis Felipe, just 2 yellow cards this season. He's been a starter for about half the campaign. It's his 11th start in 22 appearances. Tonight marks game 24 for Sacramento. Skips outside to Miles Lyons, who is in question for this game tonight, but does go from the start. And now Nico Gordon. Charging out of midfield. And the support from Lyons pouring off the edge. Cuts back to Pierce Galloway. His 9th start this year. Every player from Monterey Bay is thinking, hey, who knows, maybe we could make the playoffs. But in the back of their minds, maybe for some, the front of their minds, if their contract expires in a month, they're thinking, make the right impression on Jordan Stewart tonight.
And these are the types of games where, as a player, you need to bring the right energy. It can be challenging when you're going through a season the way that Monterey Bay has, but just to your point, there's still something to prove every time you step onto the field when you're talking about the professional landscape of the game. So, good opportunity against one of the better teams in the league.
That ran away from Scott. Let's look at tonight's injury report. It's brought to you by ROL&M Local Injury Attorneys. It is Elijah Paul still out for Monterey Bay tonight. Christian Pirano started for Sacramento last time out, not in the 18 tonight. Herrera, Timmer, among a number of players who've dealt with injuries over a longer period of time. Trevor Ammon among the players not in the 18 tonight. Ryan Spalding as well. Nolati. Monterey Bay without Adam Larson, Alex Dixon. Lions slicing that across. It's an inspired start to the game on both ends.
They come out at home. They come out quick when they play at home. You saw that little 1-2 combination. They were able to isolate the outside back for Sacramento. Good movement off the ball. Good driven low cross in, but you'd like to see those runners get a little bit more to the near post.
Xavi Nalati. Back into the width. Here's Galloway. And now Lyons. Ushers across out of play. So Danny Vitiello in goal tonight for Sacramento. As a goalkeeper, what do you admire about what he brings to the table? He's been the regular season keeper for Neil Collins. He's been steadfast in St. Jared Mazzola as the cup keeper for the group, and he's been brilliant in the Jägermeister Cup. What about Danny?
Saves and consistency. I think consistency is one of the things for a goalkeeper that when a head coach doesn't have to think about the goalkeeper position, I've had head coaches tell me this before, that's what they want to do. They want to put the name on the back of the sheet and say, this is my goalkeeper. I know what I'm going to get from this goalkeeper. I know what to expect from this goalkeeper. They're going to make the big time saves when I need them. The mistakes are going to be very limited, and they're going to be confident as a goalkeeper in the position and leading the back line. And that's exactly what Sacramento has. Consistency is key.
Yeah, we mentioned 11 clean sheets on the season. He has opportunity to do something tonight. Chance to do something here for Corey Bennett. All got prodded away from him. Cicerone's waiting centrally. This knocked by Campazano back into the field of play and gets cleared.
Bennett does a good job finding that gap in between, but Campazano does an even better job coming out, not only getting an initial touch on Bennett's first ball, but then that cross as well. His footing was a little bit awkward when that cross comes in. He's able to regather himself, clear the ball out of danger, and fortunately for Monterey Bay, there was no one there from Sacramento to clean it up.
As a goalkeeper, this is an awkward moment, isn't it?
Yeah, when you have to turn your body this way. He was cheating just a little bit, but he does a good job there. You can see that Cicerone was making that run towards the far post. Good job there, able to get that touch.
Jeremy Clark, the former San Jose goalkeeping coach who joined the staff under Jordan Stewart, actually saw Nico available in January, said, I don't know how this guy's a free agent. So ultimately, Clark had a relationship with the St. Louis goalkeeping coach, and one thing sort of leads to another in terms of how Gomez and Campazano all sort of end up on this same roster.
Well, he's been a big part of this team this year. I know where they are in the standings, but you talk about a goalkeeper who's been busy, who's been tested, and he's been up to the task, and he leads the league in saves. He's obviously had to stand on his head quite a bit, and he's done a good job with that.
Unfortunately, they had the same sort of awkward statistical leader last year with Anthony Siaha. It's both a blessing and a curse. I think even the goalkeeper would acknowledge that.
It's always fun to lead the league in saves, but then when you think about it, you're kind of like, well, I guess I'm getting a lot of work in.
Yeah, that's right. Sprayed too far for Johnny Klein. Oh, good win by Klein. Klein peeling and does in fact win a corner for Monterey Bay. It'll be a bagel corner kick.
I like how Monterey Bay's come out of this game. We talked about their bright starts, their fast starts that they have at home. They've been pressing Sacramento every single time that Sacramento wins the ball. On this one, Klein does a good job taking that ball over. I think that if he would have had a little bit more luck, if he was able to try to cut that ball back inside to open himself up a little bit more for a shot on goal. But he does a good work here to draw a corner kick by taking it down that line, deflecting it off the defender.
Clean sheet tonight for Danny Vitiello, and he ties the great Evan Newton and the still active Alex Tembakis for most in league history on 58. Short corner. Will he be under siege here? Clip to the top of the 18, flick toward frame by Revelar. It's still on for Monterey Bay. It's not the hit they're looking for Xavi Nalati.
I like that play off the corner kick, though. You could tell that was something that they saw in the build-up to it. Revelar was open on top of the box. A short little play there. Ball ends up back at Xavi's feet. Unfortunately, he skies it over, but good disguise there on the corner kick play, recognizing the gap on top of the 18-yard box of that Sacramento defense.
I think a lot of people go, you take a short corner, you take a long corner. And I think for the layman, and I count myself in that group, you don't realize just how much orchestration goes on a well-worked set piece, whether it's going into the box or not.
Well, there's a lot of time spent on that in training as well. Whenever you let the set piece coach get a little bit of time, they definitely maximize every minute that they get. drawing these plays up, but you do a lot of scouting where you really recognize holes in the defense, especially when you're talking about defensively on set pieces, whether a team likes to go man-to-man, whether they like to go zone. You try to identify those different gaps, and you try to exploit them to the best of your ability.
And then as a goalkeeper, I imagine a decent amount of time on spot kicks, decent amount of time on set pieces, just trying to give yourself that one split-second advantage, huh?
Yeah, there's a decent amount of time, especially when you're talking about working around a wall and getting used to seeing the shots happen around the wall, because that's not something that you're used to seeing throughout the course of the game. But on corner kicks and all that, you see the ball, you get the ball, that's pretty much it.
Room to run, touched forward by Klein. And the whistle's gone here.
I like the energy that Klein brings to this group. Every time I've watched Monterey Bay, he brings that little sense of energy. He's always buzzing around the ball, sets a tempo for this group in terms of how they want to press.
Klein started the year in Charleston. This is his 8th start in 9 appearances for Monterey Bay, and 11 appearances and 3 starts for the Battery prior. That has become a remarkably fertile pipeline from one direction to the other over the last few years for whatever reason. Charleston and Monterey Bay, with different managers in both locales very willing to trade amongst one another. If you want to send someone to the furthest reach of the league away from where you are right now, it would be pretty much from Monterey Bay to Charleston, South Carolina.
Hopefully that's not what they say when they make the trades.
No, there's one trade that comes to mind where it was just the player's wife was pregnant, and going back east made more sense, and they were able to work that out as a group. And I think people forget sometimes how much the personal side plays a role in some of these deals when they do go down.
Well, that's a nice thing for both of the clubs to take part in, truthfully, because you don't necessarily hear that a lot, where the personal side of things come into play.
Monterey Bay, upstanding start here through 11 minutes. We spoke to Neil Collins a couple days ago, and he goes, there is no such thing as an easy game at Monterey Bay. It's a smaller field. It's sort of this wind that picks up, as fans in Seaside certainly know, as the game goes along, and then the fog drags in. It's a pretty unique venue for opposition. Scott, good give and go. The return to Scott, he just got railed and knocked back out to the halfway line. Nothing doing, according to Corbin May.
Shoulder-to-shoulder contact on the initial look at that. But that was great build-up there from Monterey Bay, right through the midfield. It was 1-2 touches, 1-2 passes. The run comes deep from the midfield, just continuing the run throughout, 1-2 and around in the Sacramento backline. And I think on that initial ball in, when the ball pops through, it was shoulder-to-shoulder contact. I'm sure we'll get another look at it, but Monterey Bay definitely feels hard done. But again, they're doing a good job sustaining this possession.
I'm sure Benitez would tell you he certainly did go shoulder-to-shoulder. We'll get the view the referee does it in a moment. Monterey Bay doth persist. Fonguk gets the return from Scott. Those two playing off one another. Gordon. I prefaced my comment to Neil Collins asking, what do you expect from Monterey Bay? And I've watched some of these recent games, and I just can't understand how the club hasn't come away with 3 points on a number of occasions. Ball dropping toward Nolati. Sacramento going the wrong direction. Vidiello sends it away. Sometimes you get to the end of the year and it's those moments that get away. You can even go back to the last game. Luther Archimed, former player for the club, ends up scoring the 87th minute equalizer for New Mexico, where it's like, what more do we have to do to get this over the line and turn it into wins?
Well, a lot of this is a growing pain too, as well as the group is starting to come together a little bit. You go through this throughout the course of the season. when you talk about Monterey Bay, they start games very bright. They have a very hard time holding those leads. They have a hard time, they get the lead, they have a hard time maintaining the lead. And those are things that you need to learn, and those are experiences that once you get those couple of wins, when you're able to come back, you're able to hold those leads, those are things that really start to build that momentum. But on the flip side, for Monterey Bay, they've almost fallen into that pattern of having a bright start but not being able to sustain the full 90 minutes.
Lob towards Cicerone. He's able to ride the challenge of Gordon. Cicerone, one of the most lethal goal scorers in the championship year after year. Chip to the end line, touched across toward Corey Bennett, who was outstanding 2 years ago in Las Vegas. I think Corbin May is about to go offer a card to the bench, who's still arguing over that call.
Yeah, on the second look, there really wasn't much attempt to go to the ball. I do think that he could have called a penalty on that one because there was no attempt to play the ball. It was just all body-to-body contact. And on the flip side here, that's a great challenge there from Monterey Bay's defender, sliding across and making that challenge. But I do think there was no attempt on the ball, so I do think Monterey Bay is hard done on that one. Could have easily been a penalty shout for the referee.
And I believe it is Jordan Stewart.
And those are the things when they're not going your way, they don't go your way.
All knotted down, hit toward frame to save Camposano. Turns away Luis Felipe, who's known to score a stunner or 5 every year.
Felipe gets all of this one. Look at this ball coming in. It's a bouncing ball laid off by Cicerone. Great job here off the half volley, but even a better save. Look how Camposano is able to get down to his left quickly on a bouncing ball. That is a difficult save to make, ladies and gentlemen. He does such a good job getting himself low. Not surely where the volley was going to go off of Felipe's foot, but he makes great contact off the half volley. Brilliant layoff by Cicerone, but only a better save there from Camposano to keep it out.
Corner.
Corner for Sacramento. Keeper came, didn't get it, saved off the line. Sacramento appealing for a handball. There is no VAR. What Corbin May saw goes.
Chaos on this corner kick. Camposano comes out, he swings and he misses. Tough to see. It looks like the arm was close to the body here. Let's get another look at it. Definitely hits off the arm. But I don't think the arm was extended. It was in a natural position. So I see the no call there, to be completely honest.
And here's 2 parts to keep in mind. So often the idea of an unnatural position is away from the body, but it also changes when you jump. That's not the case there. So it's not like you're supposed to be changing momentum with your arms or bracing yourself. So you get less luxury there as a defender. You're guarding the line. In theory, any attempt to make yourself bigger is in and of itself unnatural. Gurr hangs this up. Camposano will let it run by. The other thing that stands out to me, he's wearing long sleeves, and that sounds like a small thing. Referees are largely told to look at where the sleeve ends as the beginning of a handball. So you think your sleeve on the shirt you're wearing at home right now goes down to about the bottom of your armpit. That's considered part of the torso, not part of your arm. Because the sleeve and the long sleeve that he's wearing under it are the same color, your eyes have to be doubly impressive to be able to catch something that's on the bicep, what is or isn't.
Well, I also think, too, on that play, through ball here, I think it's a little bit offsides.
It is.
I also think on that play as well, he's working himself back. He's working himself back into that position because the goalkeeper comes out. But his arm never moves. His arm never really changes from the body shape that he had it for the entire time. Neil Collins disagrees with me in my point here, but it was close to his body. It did hit part of the arm, but when it doesn't leave from that natural position, for me, that's a good no call.
What are the odds that both these former Premier League players are going to walk out of here with a yellow card tonight?
Pretty high.
It's
right
growing,
now.
Isn't it?
Yeah. We're already halfway there. Fast start to this game, though. A lot of action on both sides already. Monterey Bay doing a good job pressing, controlling a little bit of possession, but again, on the flip side, Sacramento does what they do best in terms of making their opportunities, getting shots on goal, creating a little bit of something out of nothing.
So the yellow card we can now confirm went to a member of the staff for Monterey Bay, but not to Jordan Stewart. So if he's going to get one, he's going to have to earn it a little bit later. He did come over and point in that area, and clearly he identified a specific person who's now very aware in a way that we are currently not. There is Jordan Stewart. It's his first full season at the helm, and unfortunately for Monterey Bay, this season ending much like the last one did. They finished 1 win, 7 losses, 4 draws the end of last year. Well, right now they're 0-6-3 in their last 9 with 4 to go.
Not a trend that you like to see if you're a Monterey Bay fan. They had a bright start to the season. They started out the season strong. Looked like it was going to be a team that was trending in the right direction, but as everybody knows, especially in these leagues, especially in the USL, it's all about how you finish the season, making sure that you're finishing with the type of momentum that you need. That's what the best teams do. That's what the playoff teams do, and that's what Monterey Bay and Coach Jordan Stewart are looking towards. Good job there by Monterey Bay, making sure they're getting numbers back behind the ball as it turns over.
By the way, I'd be remiss not to say that the two managers have actually played against one another, and it was quite some time ago. 18 years ago, Wolves against Watford in the English Championship. That is a dangerous ball, and Monterey Bay let off the hook. Before I tell you more about that, I'll tell you the USL is on CBS Sports Network, closing out September with a Championship Western Conference showdown. Teams in the thick of the playoff hunt. New Mexico United taking on Lexington SC. It's a battle for valuable points. You'll see it tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS Sports Network. So Watford defeated Neil Collins' Wolves 2-1 in front of 23,000 in August of 2007. Jordan Stewart scored in that game, the equalizer, in the 87th minute. Jordan Stewart was very quick to mention to us that those two marked one another when they met in that game. He goes, I remember Neil marking me at Wolves when he was still at Watford. And then Watford scored the winner 90+5.
Do you think they talked about that one before the game? You think they bring it up?
It's a good question. Would you?
Probably.
Yeah.
It depends on the current relationship, but I might throw it in there.
I think your banter is at a level that you'd bring it up.
I think so. That's bragging rights for life.
They didn't play nearly enough to give Neil a fighting chance to go again, but Neil actually was injured for the second meeting between the teams that year, so didn't get the feature against Jordan in that game. It is just a shockingly small world, isn't it?
The soccer world is, for sure.
Well, yeah, the rest of the world's very vast, but the soccer world is quite small. Bennett tried to flick that through. He was playing on the other side of the world earlier this year. Came in from Kuwait. Was at Al Nassr, which when I first saw the news, I thought, my goodness, he's playing with Cristiano Ronaldo. And then you realize that's a different Al Nassr, that this is the one in Kuwait. Ultimately, the club in Sacramento looking for a 9 got their man. And it's also not Ronaldo. The whistle goes against Scott.
Hopefully better than
I hope so. I would think so.
Where the club is going.
How many S's are there in Al Nassr?
Where he was going.
Jordan Stewart and Neil Collins are up and at him enough that wouldn't surprise me if either of them laced up cleats at halftime and got involved in the second half. I think the league would have a problem with it. We wouldn't.
You can tell the physicality of this game has been high from the beginning. We saw a couple challenges early on. We're seeing this contact now between the forwards and the center backs. These derby games, there's always just a little bit more bite. I think Monterey Bay's done a good job here for the first 20, but I wouldn't be surprised now if Sacramento starts building themselves into the game a little bit. start sustaining a little bit more of that possession. Both teams are feeling comfortable with the elements. They're throwing numbers around the ball whenever it turns over. It's been a high-pressing game so far. Seems about that time where Sacramento's going to start building themselves back into this one, though.
Felipe out here making friends and influencing people. I don't know that he's going to get many more of those before he finds himself in the book, given the foul he took in the first minute.
Yeah, surprised the referee didn't think about the yellow card a little bit more there.
Galloway definitely seconds that comment.
It was a tactical foul for the first one. I agree not giving the yellow card in the first minute, but they're going to keep having those types of fouls in the midfield. The yellow card's going to come out here eventually.
By the way, I'm not sure I did entirely the best justice. Jordan Stewart only scored 11 goals. I just love the fact that one of them was head-to-head with
one of them.
And here they are on this field in Seaside, California now.
You know, you wonder if when they're playing over there, if they could have ever imagined this is where they'd be.
Well, they said, "I'll see you in 2025 in Seaside" at the end of the game as they shook hands and traded jerseys, I'm sure. Crowd here quite vocal. Monterey Bay, 5 home wins this year. They finished 3 of their last 4 on home ground. Pittsburgh and Vegas, the last 2 games of the season, and they desperately hope competitively they'll still mean something. Lions angling down the line. Whips the service backside. Header steered away. Strong work from JJ.
Lions is doing a good job getting himself in these positions for the crosses, but for Monterey Bay, they need to get more numbers in the box. When you pick your head up, if you're Lions, all you see is 1 or 2 blue jerseys in there. You see a lot of Sacramento defenders. There's nowhere to really put the ball. So when Monterey Bay is able to get that ball out wide, I'd like to see some late runners from the midfield at least trying to get a little bit more numbers in the box for Monterey Bay to give themselves more of a chance.
Fonguk. Stabbed by Grant Robinson. 2 of the vets in the 4th youngest team in the championship.
Sacramento really content to let Monterey Bay try to move this ball around, waiting for them to play the balls into the line.
Gordon hoofs it forward. And down goes Ross. Wins a free kick. It's a game Sacramento fans will all be watching and Monterey Bay fans will be hate watching. Tune in to CBS Sports Golazo Network on October 4th. It is the Jägermeister Cup final. From 38 clubs down to 2, Group 1 winner Sac Republic take on wild card Hartford Athletic. 10 p.m. Eastern for their shot at glory. The Jägermeister Cup final on Golazo Network on Saturday, October 4th.
A lot of Hartford fans in the stands tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of Hartford fans in Monterey Bay.
Similar color scheme. If they want to go, they can drive down to Hard Health Park and offer a bit of
offer support.
Yeah, why not? Monterey Bay, I don't think has beef with Hartford. Sometimes you have to go through the old Rolodex and see if there's something you're missing.
At least not as much as Sacramento. They don't have. I know they don't have as much beef as they do have with Sacramento.
Yeah, that's right.
So at least if there is beef, there's
the enemy of the enemy is my friend.
Exactly.
This runs all the way down. Hartford, the leading scoring team in the competition. Sacramento allowed the fewest goals. So it's
something's got to give.
Something's got to give. And really, I mean, you look down the stretch of the season. Louisville, Hartford, Sacramento. I don't know that there's anyone in the league and say they're playing better than those 3 right now.
makes it no surprise that those two were able to rise throughout the course of the tournament,
well,
and get themselves into that position.
Louisville, I'm not saying that Sacramento went all in on every game, but if you look at how Louisville approached it, got a handful of guys for that first game, and you drop points to North Carolina, and all of a sudden you're on the back foot and you lose out on the wild card on the goal scored to Hartford, who got 2 League One opponents instead of 1. And so there's a little bit of jostling, I think, to figure out the exact perfect way to go about Jägermeister Cup. But what I can tell you is you've gone through the entire year. I think it did provide a really interesting sort of change up to some of these, end of every month, one weekend is dedicated to this. I liked it.
Yeah, it lets them put more emphasis on it, because when you're talking about sandwiching games in between schedules, that's when things get really challenging. But when you put an emphasis on the cup and you provide that weekend for those teams to play in that game, it allows you to set it up a little bit more to your liking, so you can get the players on the field that you really want to, because you're not sacrificing the league games as well.
Well, I think a lot of people say, well, the FA Cup can manage to play on a Wednesday night, the Open Cup can play on a Wednesday night. Well, the top teams in Europe, is this ball whipped across and out? You've got like 35 guys on their roster, as opposed to what you look at in the championship, more like 25 to 26 on a bit of a longer roster, and then injury, of course, takes its effect, and maybe you've got a bustling academy, maybe you don't. MLS, you're talking more like 28, and those 4 or 5 guys you can bring up from your next pro roster that you might want to swing in. But Neil Collins said, I think a lot of coaches would be willing to trade places with me when they're watching from their couch on Saturday night.
Well, it's also the idea of travel as well. The travel in the States is so much bigger than what you have to do in England and these other countries.
Sacramento had to go to the East Coast for the quarters and the semis.
And that tacks on. When you talk about the course of the season and how much travel back and forth across the country is done, those are things that you don't have to deal with when you're talking about playing in England.
Ball whipped through toward Nolati, skims past Revelar. I mean, do the math. That is a minimum 24 hours in the air that you spent that otherwise wouldn't have if the draw just went marginally, fractionally differently.
Right, and those things take a toll on the body, especially when you're talking about the course of a season.
And then you get the glory of a game just a couple hours down the road like this one, and everyone takes a deep breath and goes, I get to go to Seaside, I get to go to Sacramento, not so bad.
A little bit of a bus ride.
Yeah. Oakland and Sacramento, there were hundreds of fans that piled onto a special Amtrak from Sacramento to Oakland, specifically for that game. I didn't know that you could charter an Amtrak, but I guess they did.
I've never taken an Amtrak. Have you taken Amtrak's?
I was about to really tisk you, and I realized I haven't. No, I have. I've gone through the Northeast corridor a little bit. Nothing like a good New York to DC or New York to Philly ride on the Amtrak. With native Floridian and climate apologist Jeff Attinella driving around in his car. Mike Watts on hand as well. Scoreless past half an hour tonight. Monterey Bay, bottom of the standings, 3 points keeps them in the mix. Jordan Stewart was quick to say no one's exactly gone and taken those final spots at the end of the Western Conference playoff list just yet, so leaves them a glimmer of hope. 4 games remaining, 6 points out. Other teams with games in hand. A lot of draws, and the rich have gotten richer in recent weeks. Lexington is now entirely out of the bubble conversation. It feels like Sacramento and Tulsa continue, for the most part, to pick up points.
I think that's especially what makes the playoffs more exciting, because every team's still in it. So in order for these teams to clinch, you're going to have a lot of teams that are going to be playing in their best soccer towards the end of the season. So you're going to have a lot of hot teams needing to collect these points over the last month or so of the season, entering into the playoffs in good fashion, because a lot of times you see these teams that, they clinch it early and it's a little bit slow for them, and then they don't really feel that type of pressure. But both the East and the West are going to have a lot of teams that are trying to push for these final playoff spots towards the end, so they're going to be playing playoff-type soccer for about a month.
And for a team like Sacramento, Colorado Springs was 15 minutes away from being a 5 seed and going on the road in the first round of the playoffs last year. They scored a goal late, won their final game, finished as the 2 seed, and never left home. It can happen in the blink of an eye in this league. Ball ripped ahead here by Desmond.
Sacramento's really having a hard time finding rhythm tonight. It's been a lot of long balls. They had the one opportunity with Felipe off the volley, but that came off of a long ball. Cicerone headed it back down. But they're not really able to find much joy on the ball, and you have to give Monterey Bay a lot of credit for what they've done defensively, and I think they've done a good job as well keeping the ball and just being a little bit more patient than we're used to seeing, moving this ball from side to side. At Sacramento, they're finally starting to step out a little bit higher with that pressure.
The numbers bear it out. Desmond, he did not feel the pressure arriving. Good thievery there from Adrian Revelar. And he sidesteps Felipe. His cross dealt with by Desmond.
It's a good build up there from Revelar, but I think he had more space to keep going on that dribble. He picked his head up, tried to put that cross in, but when you're putting crosses on top of the 18, it's going to be tough for anybody to do anything with it. He did a good job beating that first defender, and then he could have taken that space a little bit more, got himself closer down to that goal line.
Rare touch of the ball for Rodrigo Lopez in the early going. Part of that 2014 Sacramento team that won the championship in their first ever season. He has had a long and winding journey since then. It's not that he's been with the club for over a decade. He's gone all the way into the top division in Mexico. Roro is good an ambassador for the sport as this league, this country, has to offer. Elsewhere tonight, Oakland has grabbed the lead against Phoenix 1-0. So Phoenix is just above the line. Oakland is right on top of Sacramento in the standings.
Easy one there for the referee. Desmond doing a good job here, trying to bring this ball from the center back position. Has a little bit of space. Revelar just trips him up. Easy call there from the referee. Good job there by Desmond trying to take advantage of that space.
Ross, Lopez. Here to Kleeman. It's becoming a bit more enthralling. Gurr. Benitez chased it down. Up the line, Luis Felipe. It's the best chance perhaps by either team in this game. Sprawling save from Camposano 20 minutes ago. Benitez, the turn. Felipe, watch out. Did well to get back in front of him. You give him a running start and he can blast the ball through the net.
Thought he was going to wind one up there.
Felt like it, didn't it? Remember that Open Cup goal against LA Galaxy a few years ago?
Basso.
Did that, I think Dos Santos was on the field for that, like some big names at the end of that game. Here he is, Felipe.
Monterey Bay doing a good job getting numbers all around him when he has the ball in that type of space. Doing a good job quickly closing him down.
Yeah, that's the scout being attended to. Lopez comes out to Lions, and he sends away that Select ball. Select proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest Select product specials and more. Select, player's choice. Pause there for a second, thinking maybe there's something to be had there. Cicerone's really letting that lettuce grow out.
Upset about something.
He thought that took a deflection. It's not an argument he's going to win, unfortunately for him. Cicerone, 15 or more goals in 3 straight seasons. An injury-marked campaign last year ended that run with just 5. He's on a team high 8 this season. It is, of course, a shorter season, only 30 instead of 34 this year, so some of those big round numbers are going to look a little different. Good atmosphere tonight as ever. Soccer season very much still here. SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of the USL. With all your USL tickets and more, the #1 ticketing site. That's SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Corbin May is not giving up his seat. Me to tell you about Sirius XM FC?
Absolutely.
You're gonna have to wait. Sorry, bud. Second half, we'll get there. Here's Galloway.
Ready for it.
23 hours of really good content on Tuesdays. 1 hour that just makes you wish you could get it back. We'll tell you later. Throw here for Rebel R.
You're talking about Monterey Bay. They've done such a good job maintaining this possession tonight. They haven't tested the goalkeeper. There hasn't been shots on target. They really haven't been able to get behind that back line. So even though there's that possession, Sacramento's doing a good job of keeping everything in front of them, really not allowing them to have that possession lead to good chances. I think if you're Monterey Bay, like I talked about earlier, trying to get more numbers in the box when you get the ball to wide areas for these crosses, maybe try to find a little bit more dynamic runs so that this possession can lead to something where you're splitting the lines a little bit better. Sacramento doing a good job of making that difficult for them. So there's really been no threat when you're talking about this type of possession that they've been able to have.
So Danny Vitiello remains untested as that skips out. Offside flag is up. And I spoke to Danny in Sacramento last year about the early stages of his career, because Danny Vitiello now is on the cusp of becoming the all-time championship shutout lead, but his 6th year as a starter, 4 in Sacramento, a couple years in Pittsburgh. He actually trialed there. He was the #3 in Nashville, and at the time, Matt Pickens was as much a goalkeeper as he was practically a coach of that Nashville SC team. He said Matt Pickens, after 2 weeks in training, said, "You're going to be a #1 in this league." He said at the time, I didn't really see it in myself and how important that confidence was. Now that confidence has blossomed to allow him to be a leader in the back line. He's about to be the leader in all-time clean sheets in the championship. Pretty remarkable. Jack Gurr, an ever-present threat off the right side, plays that in front. Cicerone was in the mix. He's still arguing that point. Felt he got lassoed.
That's a great ball in there from Gurr. Cicerone doing a good job. He finds himself on the back shoulder of the Monterey Bay defender. Finds himself right in front of the goal. Interesting to see. He's upset. He felt like he was pulled down, but excellent cross in there from Gurr. He's able to wrap his foot around and put it right in the stride of Cicerone. Once we're able to get another peek at it, we'll see what the argument was all about, but fantastic cross into the box.
Offside flag would have gone up, so Guzman brings it all the way back to Campuzano. Key result elsewhere tonight. Players Shield leader Louisville continues to keep pace. Up to 63 points now, 1-0 win over Detroit. Sean Tosh becomes the all-time leader in games played. Let's look at Gurr's effort in front.
Oh, there's a shoulder tug there. I think he has a good argument. It's a great cross in, but you could tell the jersey tug on the back shoulder of his left shoulder. He has a right to be upset about it. He was right in stride with that cross. Monterey Bay defender does pull on his jersey, which causes him to fall down. There's been now, what, 3 different shots for penalty shots in this game? The referee's kept the whistle to himself.
One for Monterey Bay early that got an assistant coach carded for dissent. And a pair down on the other end for Sacramento. I would argue the third, the one we just saw, was the most compelling.
I think so. I have no problem with the first 2 not being called, but that one, especially because it's such a good ball in and you're clearly impeding a goal-scoring opportunity when you talk about Cicerone having that space in behind.
Cicerone would be offside on this next ball in, but I think he's arguing, if not for an extended arm, perhaps he's carrying that in alone on goal. It's another example of Cicerone joining the debate team but not having an opponent. By the way, Sean Tosh scored tonight in that game that passed Canardo Forbes for most appearances in league history. Because of course he did. And what did he do? He tucked in his shirt. Because what else would he do? It's Tosh in a nutshell. 6th minute winner for Louisville City. Ball prodded through. Contact again in the penalty area, and again Sacramento up at arms. Ross. Sacramento capitalized here at the end of the half. Gurr provided the width. Instead, it's turned down. We're told there shouldn't be any stoppage time, so Sacramento best get this forward. They don't. We're going to the break. The happier manager is whom?
I would think Jordan Stewart in this one, he'd be happier. They've done a good job with their possession. They've done a good job of keeping everything in front of them for Sacramento. I think Neil Collins is going to be pretty upset about the no PK calls as well, so he's probably a little bit upset about that. But I think for Sacramento on the flip side, they have to do a little bit of better job here of building themselves into the game and getting a little bit more control over the ball. But credit Monterey Bay, they've done a good job. They've controlled the possession. They've pressed when Sacramento's won the ball. Sacramento did have the better chance here when you talk about the Felipe volley, but on the flip side, I do think Monterey Bay's built themselves into this game, and it'll be up for Sacramento to adjust a little bit to create themselves a little bit more dangerous chances.
So it is halftime in Seaside, and we are all square between Sacramento and Monterey Bay. The vast majority of this game is seen, well, everyone arguing, but not a ton of chances between the sides. Sacramento near the top, Monterey Bay at the bottom. You couldn't tell it at the break. We're scoreless. Look around the league. Coming up next.
Hi, Monterey Bay FC fans. My name is Jeremy Vanderkratz. I'm the owner of Signs by Van, a local sign company that's been in business since 1981. With over 25,000 signs built to date, we have the largest running staff in all of Monterey County. But don't take my word for it. Have a look around Cardinelli Stadium and you'll see our craftsmanship all around you. Find your way in, find a drink, find your food, find your seat, and find us at signsbyvan.com.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, me quedo vuelta.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
I can't wait.
Mr. Messi.
Make it look ultra. Cerveza light superior.
Are you paying too much for your car insurance? Call Coast Auto Insurance to receive a free quote and see how much you could save. Coast works with over 50 different insurance companies to make sure you get the best rate for your car, motorcycle, home, or business. Coast is a local company with local people. We do vehicle registration, SR22, and insurance for Mexico. Call Coast Auto Insurance today for a free quote and see how much we can save you. Or go to coastautoinsurance.com, where your peace of mind is guaranteed.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
getting down to the weather where you need to bundle up. It is late September, and it's a little bit chilly tonight. Monterey Bay and Sacramento scoreless at halftime. Mike Watts, Jeff Antonello. How about we take a look at the Championships Team of the Week? Josh Jones gets his first career goal for Louisville City, earns his spot. Paul Marie in on loan. The Tampa Bay Rowdies from San Jose makes the Team of the Week. Taylor Calhara scores again. Jansen Wilson scores again. No surprise they lead the line. No surprise Danny Vitiolo's in goal.
Danny Vitiola, he's a mainstay in this Team of the Week. But I was on the broadcast call for Paul Marie's game last week, and he is a really special talent when you're talking about somebody that's come into this league and made a big impact for a team. His dynamic runs. Good group here. Showed out last week, and these are all good players that deserve this spot on this team.
Nalati and Desmond, also in this game tonight, made the bench because we need a bench for the Team of the Week. All right, how about we tell you about the Jägermeister Cup Final? It's coming up on the Golazo Network on Saturday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. We'll hear the local crew in Sacramento on the call for it, but you get Jeff's thoughts now.
Well, I think that Sacramento, they're a team that's built to win a tournament like this. But on the flip side, I do think that Hartford is a team that has the ability to go on the road in their style of play. They are a team that's going to be competitive with their road style. So I do think it's an interesting matchup when you're talking about Sacramento, who's able to have so much success the way that they do. But on the flip side, the way that Hartford's able to defend, counter, that's exactly how you have success on the road. So I think that's two hot teams, and it should be an exciting matchup.
So these sides are front of mind right now, but how about the support in New Mexico? They'll be on CBS SN tomorrow night. How about we tell you about the experience?
It's great to win against an MLS team, but we'll do that any Wednesday, any Saturday.
It's our house. No one comes into our house and beats us.
If you're against us, it's not going to be good for you. But if you're with us, it's the greatest day you ever had.
The Kings of Chaos strike again.
They create such a loud environment, flags waving, chants.
When the team plays, it's like we're going to the battle with them.
It's always sort of that New Mexico underdog story, just waiting to happen.
Hartford Athletic gets to the Jägermeister Cup Final.
Sacramento sweep the penalties. Sac Republic make another indomitable run to a cup final.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
Among finds the corner. He ties it up.
Line through Cicerone. What a banger. Oh, good night.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
It is Oktoberfest tonight, and so keep those glasses full and find a designated driver, folks. It is Monterey Bay or an Amtrak and Sacramento here at halftime. Looks pretty good. How How about we show you news and notes around the USL Championship and beyond? Bell Tower Partners taking an equity stake in the United Soccer League. Yusong Lee is named the vice chair. He is the former CEO of the Carlyle Group, so big strategic growth investment. Meanwhile, how about Danny Cruz, youngest to 100 victories, and he'll be in Louisville as long as he wants.
As long as he wants to. So much success with that club, and really just enjoy every time I speak to him. With somebody that has such a knowledge of the game, great guy to be around. You can tell why everyone in Louisville loves him and how this buys in so well.
Meanwhile, 9 former championship players called into the under-20s, and the USL pathway to the national team is really starting to flow. Meanwhile, there are plenty of scores around the USL Championship tonight of note. Obviously, here it's scoreless, but we do have goals in other games. Mentioned Sean Tosh got that goal in his record-setting appearance. 6-minute winner for Lou City at Detroit. Meanwhile, India, 2-1 win over Tulsa that buoys their playoff hopes in the East and makes a much more clear path for Sacramento to try and win the West in the regular season. Hartford wins the Burke Bowl over Colorado Springs. And then there's a bunch of ongoing action tonight as well. Danny Trejo scoring inside a minute against Oakland. And then tomorrow, there's a trio of games. Pick one. Pick your favorite.
Well, I'm from Tampa, so I'm going to go with Loudoun versus the Rowdies because I'm a little bit of a homer, but I am excited also to watch Pittsburgh when they go up against Las Vegas, a game that was supposed to be today, but they had to postpone it. So it should be a good one as well when you're talking about two teams with, you had the coach coming over from Charleston, understanding the Pittsburgh lineup, trying to get results to Las Vegas, trying to get results to Pittsburgh, trying to cement themselves in the playoffs. So a bunch of good games tomorrow. They should all be exciting.
Well, Jeff, I see how it is. I'll be calling that New Mexico-Lexington game, and I'm happy to know you won't be watching. That's on CBS Sports Network tomorrow afternoon.
I just want to say that one for you.
Yeah, thanks. Meanwhile, what's coming up as we stare down the end of the season? 3 more games for Monterey Bay, so they'll go to Tampa Bay and then finish it out with 2 at home. The reality is they're going to need 4 wins. It's going to have to start in the second half.
Well, you did get a look at the travel that we talked about when we were talking about the first half, how much traveling Monterey Bay has to do here. But, it starts tonight. If they're able to get a result tonight, that's the type of momentum that you need to go on a trip like this. And, these are all teams that are jockeying for positions in the playoffs and trying to make runs as well. So it's tough competition, but it all has to start tonight for Monterey Bay if they want to make their final push towards the playoffs.
Yep, the Union are headed bay to bay here this coming weekend, and then they get that bye week before the Pittsburgh game. Meanwhile, here's what's coming for Sacramento. Most notably, win on Saturday next week, lift the trophy. That's all that really counts.
It all counts, but I know that they're definitely staring at it. And you look at the way that the schedule's worked out. They get to play in the Jaeger Cup final, and then they have to go away at Hartford. So that's a good one to keep an eye on as well, that 10-11 game, because it'll be a big revenge game for somebody. But, a schedule that Sacramento's going to feel pretty good about. Of course, they have the Jägermeister Cup to look forward to, but all games that are winnable, and I think a lot of us are going to have our eyes on that Charleston game on 10/22. Not that anybody's really looking ahead, but that should be a good one.
Yeah, that could be a championship preview, and then they'll finish with Miami the final day of the regular season. We'll see whether or not they need the points from that game. So, Sacramento and Monterey Bay are scoreless at halftime, and we've got a bit of an Oktoberfest feeling in the stands, don't we? Everyone's a little loosey-goosey out here.
Some good dance moves going on.
Yeah, that. Monterey Bay, Sacramento, scoreless. First half highlights in a race you won't want to miss coming up.
Hi Monterey Bay FC fans, my name is Jeremy Vanderkratz. I'm the owner of Signs by Van, a local sign company that's been in business since 1981. With over 25,000 signs built to date, we have the largest running staff in all of Monterey County. But don't take my word for it. Have a look around Cardinelli Stadium and you'll see our craftsmanship all around you. Find your way in, find a drink, find your food, find your seat, and find us at signsbyvan.com. Hi Monterey Bay FC fans, my name is Jeremy Vanderkratz. I'm the owner of Signs by Van, a local sign company that's been in business since 1981. With over 25,000 signs built to date, we have the largest running staff in all of Monterey County. But don't take my word for it. Have a look around Cardinelli Stadium and you'll see our craftsmanship all around you. Find your way in, find a drink, find your food, find your seat, and find us at signsbyvan.com.
It's halftime. It's the long-awaited Oktoberfest bouncing beer stein race. Kelpie calling everyone to him. So many different strategies involved. It's not how fast you bounce. It's about how much beer is left in your cup at the end. This dude in the hoodie's like, I think I got it, but wait. There's folks making their late beeline across the finish. Kelpie awaits. Kelpie ready to name a champion. Lift your stein if you're a winner. My man in the hoodie and the hat. Legendary. This man's a hero. And he is the great October bouncing beer stein race winner. Jeff, you were watching this, and I know exactly what you're thinking. This guy's done it before.
He's done it before. You could tell he's an experienced bouncer. He not only won the race, but he kept the stein as full as possible.
Yeah, as always, you're glass half full, guys. So here's all the highlights from the first half.
Experience pays off here. Well, glass half full is the ability to not call penalty kicks, apparently, because in the first half we had a lot of shots for it. On this one, I don't see it. This one, I think that the body contact was there. Could have been a penalty shot as well. And then we fast forward to the 15th minute. Ball comes in. So take a little look at this one here. A little bit of a bouncing ball here. Played to the far post. Big time save here from Cicerone. Big time save here after the header from Cicerone. Felipe doing a good job making that solid contact off the half volley, but Campuzano does what he does best, getting low and making big time saves to this Monterey Bay team. Then we talk about another PK shot, the ensuing corner kick. Campuzano comes out, misses it, and then look at this here. The arm is close to the body. Sacramento wanted the shout, but there is no call there from the referee. As Bongo doing a good job covering the line for the goalkeeper. As Campuzano came flying out there, like to have that cross back, but no harm, no foul. Then we fast forward again. Sacramento doing a good job here. Look at this cross in here. It's a great ball in from Gurr and Cicerone. He feels hard done, and I agree with him. He's pulled down here at the last second. He has a clear path for the ball. It's a great ball in there from Gurr on to the leading goal scorer from the Sacramento group. But he is pulled down there. But again, no shout from the referee. It's been a physical matchup in this one. 0-0 to start the second half, and I expect more of the same. We'll see how this one goes.
They're bouncing off the walls here in Seaside. They're waiting for the second half. Here we go. Monterey Bay and Sacramento.
Hopefully it's as exciting as that Stein bouncing ball race. Does it have a name?
Buddy, it's the Great October Bouncing Beer Stein race. Get it right.
Yep, my bad. That's on me.
Here's Jack Gurr bouncing into the final third. And not a half-bad ball. Cicerone navigating. Tried to chip it back wide. Gurr's going to take over. Gurr hits the service. That appeared like an obvious handball. Play on, knocked down, cleared away by Galloway. I'm with Jeff, whose hand is on his forehead.
That one live action, it did look like a handball on that one. Gurr doing a good job there. He's done a good job getting down this right line. The cross comes in, and it looked like the hand definitely hit the ball here. Tough to tell which defender it was for Monterey Bay, but once again, the referee keeps the whistle, and we're still playing on at 0-0. Neil Collins doing a good job composing himself on the sidelines.
It's possible the referee just can't understand what he's screaming. So, action right out of the break. We'll take another look at it in a moment, but just understand that the referee cannot, no VAR in the championship, which some would argue is the way the game was meant to be officiated, except for tonight. Nolati playing through, Scott trying to latch on, hits the ball over, and that'll inch out for a corner. Let's go back to the other end.
And again, it's good. It's a miscommunication here from the two Monterey Bay defenders. Cross comes in.
That's an obvious handball.
For me, that's a handball. He's even going to put his arm. He's going to put his arms on the back of the forward. Cross comes in. For me, that's a handball.
Bagel corner kick on the other end for Monterey Bay. Lions will take it. My first thought was did it deflect off the Sacramento player right in front of him, because that's a different argument. It didn't appear to.
It was direct. It was directing, he was making movements towards the ball. It looked like his arm was attached from his body. But we play on.
Lottie end line kept that in. Revelar offers the service, header, back post, cleared up and away. Benitez.
Gordon doing a good job. He's up there for the corner kick. He's rising up. Cross comes in. Sacramento defender there in the right place, right time.
Klein kept it alive. Lopez lofts it in behind and all the way down to Camposano.
A lot of action straight out of the gate here in the second half.
Yeah, and I'll say this for the referee. Every fan who has a problem with the officiating, you can take a course. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You can buy a whistle. That doesn't cost a lot of money either. We need more quality officials, top to bottom, and there's ways to get that done.
It's not an easy job these referees have.
Don't envy it at all. There's a reason I get to look at it 3 times before I make a decision. Because the handball rules now, in terms of deflections inside the penalty area that guided into the arm, and did that hit the Sacramento player who was leaning down and catch him on the arm, and then you're having a different discussion. Cicerone overtaken from behind.
Revelar's done a good job of that the entire night. He's doing a good job defending, working his way back, helping out his back line.
All through from Scott got deflected. Stays with Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay doing a better job here in the second half, finding some space in between those center backs of Sacramento. A lot of the possession was in front of that back line there, with really not many threatening runs, but we've seen a couple already. A couple through balls splitting between the center backs, trying to get themselves in behind, something that we really didn't see much of in the first half.
Fonguk didn't have player there. He thought he did. The run had started. He was unaware. By the way, busy week in the front office for Monterey Bay. Our congratulations and our thanks to Mike DiGiulio, the president of the club, who announced earlier this week that he'd be stepping down after leading the club from its inception, staying on through the end of the season. Says he wants to see the fans around the venue and say thank you to them as he goes through these final 3 home games. And the announcement that Mike Sheehan is set to take the reins as the new chief executive officer. 30 years of experience, worked with the Mavericks and the Mariners and the Houston SaberCats as well. And will make his way into the community here in Seaside moving forward. So a welcome to Mike and a thank you to Mike from Mike and the rest of us and Jeff.
My middle name is Mike.
Really?
So that can all tie it together.
I knew I liked you. Fonguk. All tipped off of him. You know, it's funny, I remember talking with Frank Yallop when he initially started the rebirth of the Phoenix franchise. This ball comes in, back toward Nulati. Chipped away from him as far as Cicerone, and of course the inaugural head coach for Monterey Bay, who departed the club about a year ago now. Year and change. He's sort of describing from, I think it may have been the owner on the call with us in Phoenix, from tumbleweeds to rough and tumble was sort of how they said building a stadium and getting a team put together, and sort of a rebirth there. In Monterey Bay, multiply it by 100 because you had no existing players, no existing staff, and So whether it's Mike or it's Frank or all the way up to ownership and Ray Beshoff, fans that have come out to support over the last 5 years, everyone from Jordan Stewart to the players well aware that where they're at right now is frustrating, right? I mean, you know, this is a group that's 4 years into the league and hasn't reached the playoffs yet. You get off to that great start, 3 wins in 4, now 3 wins in your last 22. But they do feel like with the 4th youngest roster in the league, there's a lot of things that they can build on, and that stylistically they've taken major evolution this year that they can carry forward.
Well, you definitely see it in flashes too as well. You know, this is a team that they're having a lot of games this season where 1 or 2 things go a little bit differently. They get those 3 points instead of dropping to 1. They get those 3 points instead of picking up a loss. So I do think that they have a lot of good things to build off of. They have a lot of good foundational pieces, but it's all about trying to start getting those 3 points. You need to start putting the ball into the back of the net. You need to start creating those chances that you make, turning those into goals, and getting used to what it feels like to building a winning culture within the group, because you can see it with certain teams. A team like Sacramento, a team like Louisville. These are teams that take the field and they expect to win. It's the culture that they've developed. When players come into them, they understand that there's a winning mentality and a winning culture. And for Monterey Bay to take that next step, that's going to be the next thing that needs to happen. People step into the locker room, they expect to win. You step on the field, you expect to win the full 90 minutes. And that starts with every single game, 1 game at a time, slowly start building it, and then it just starts to become second nature.
And you know Jordan Stewart probably would like to see, after an offseason which he brought in a lot of players he was familiar with, other 3-4 pieces, something we've heard as a common refrain from coaches around the championship, the idea of the best teams don't make wholesale changes, they make the right handful of changes to accent what they have, and that so often is the best next step. Here's Scott. It's been a really good addition to the group. Scott onto his right, hammers that at Vidiello, who's trying to protect potentially a record-tying clean sheet tonight.
I think Scott's looks more dynamic here. We didn't really call his name much in the first half here. He does a good job. He cuts it in. Ultimately, he's trying to open up that hip and court it towards that far post, but hits it right just to Vidiola. He's doing a good job. That's his first save of the game, doing a good job holding it. Very secure in what he's doing. No drop of the ball around that type of traffic. But finally, a shot on goal from Monterey Bay.
Picked off here by Johnny Klein. It's opening up a bit for Revelar. Spins around, plays into the width. Lions offering too high, too far, which is a good way to describe it if you're listening on the radio, which reminds me, if you can't watch the match, you can turn on Sirius XM FC 157. It's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. There's a game tomorrow night on the Sirius XM app. It is Loudon and Tampa Bay, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Slid away from Fonguk, but right into the path of Scott. Sends early, and you have to try a little harder than that.
He tried to catch him. He tried to catch the goalkeeper out a little bit on that one, but from that angle, it has to be the perfect ball in.
Does that give you like the heebie-jeebies when you see that ball initially leave a player's foot trying to chip a keeper?
Not from that angle. From that angle, it'd be really, really tough. If that ball was hit perfectly to the far post, then you just kind of tip your cap to him. But there's definitely times as a goalkeeper when you're caught out a little bit, and you can tell that the player wants to try to chip that ball when you're backpedaling towards your net, where there's that nervous moment of, man, I just really hope this doesn't fall in.
Another huge scoring night for Peter Wilson and Oakland this evening. He's up to 12 goals, 4 off the Golden Boot lead. A brace tonight for Oakland in a 3-0 lead over Phoenix before half. Here comes Monterey Bay. Nolati! That is wiped aside by Danny Vidiello. So he's made a handful of saves. He's going to have to earn it tonight. Monterey Bay certainly standing up on the evening. The ball in towards Scott. Return to sender. Touched out by Nico Gordon. And Lyons shimmies his way down the line. That will get out for a bagel corner kick.
Monterey Bay doing a better job here in the second half. Again, they're having some success on this left side, cutting the ball inside. Again, it's a big-time save from the goalkeeper. Does a good job clearing that line of danger, trying to put that ball to the far post, taking on 1-2 defenders, opens that body up, just not able to slip it into the far post, and a good clear out there from the keeper. As we get another look at it here, Monterey Bay doing a good job sustaining that pressure, starting to turn this possession into opportunities on goal. See if they have something drawn up here from the set piece.
Ball chipped across. Guzman waiting, and you saw the reaction. He knew it was on a platter for him if Benitez didn't intervene.
And again, another drawn up play here, straight off the training grounds. It's that short corner kick here. Dinks it into the far post, but Sacramento doing a good job keeping themselves switched on here, even though the ball is being played short a couple times. And again, it's Revelar who's able to find that, pick his head up. Almost able to pick out on the far post.
Still bagels on the scoreboard. Another bagel corner kick.
That's a perfect sponsor.
I mean, right now it is. I hope it's not at the end of the night. Now it sounds like I'm going after the sponsor. I just don't like 0-0 draws.
I'm just saying bagel corner for any score. Bagel corner kick.
Right.
It's a great sponsor. Here we are again, another bagel corner kick.
Thanks, Jeff.
Gotcha.
Cicerone at the post, steers it up. Tipped outside. Cicerone may well win that race, and it's a good recovery to knock this back.
We came from an offsides position.
Yeah. Wow.
It's interesting. Monterey Bay had a lot of success playing those short corner kicks, but it must be only from the right side because Monterey Bay had a lot of success on both the first and the second half. They had opportunities off those short corner kicks, but opted to go direct into the box, trying to find that near post on the last two. You can tell they found something off those short corner kicks that they like to see in Sacramento, the way that they defend. Revelar's been able to create himself a little bit of space here. The first half it was a shot, the second half was across to the far post. Wouldn't be surprised if they have something that they're keeping stored up for another corner kick.
Scott will keep the pressure on Vidiello.
Taking the ball off the juggle. 1-2, almost puts in a through ball.
Lottie touched away by Freddie Kleeman.
Lottie's come alive here in the second half as well. Two defenders there. It looked like he was going to get contact, but he fought off the contact, able to get himself down the byline. Set themselves up for another corner. Let's see if they play this one direct or if they have something in their pocket from the training ground again.
Bagel corner kick. Again. Couldn't say it better than that. But probably could have hit it a little better than that.
Yeah, they opted to go direct again. They had the numbers out there. They had the 2v1 setup, but ultimately opted to try to play that direct ball, trying to put it to the far post, but nothing doing as there was nobody there for Monterey Bay to clean it up.
Jeff likes the beat.
Get you moving a little bit. This is the first time in the second half that we've seen Sacramento really start to build themselves into it. Did a good job weathering the storm, a couple opportunities. See if they were able to sustain a little bit more than they were in the first half. But again, Monterey Bay, good response, good defensively. Trying to catch him on that quick counter.
Klein. So it's worth noting for Sacramento tonight, as Phoenix has just got one back. If Oakland were to win that game against Phoenix, it would leave a bunch of teams that could hit max 44, which is what Sacramento would be at if they were to find a way to win this game tonight. All lob across field. Phoenix, a pair of draws against Sacramento, so the tiebreaker go to in-conference points. This carried out by Vidiello, but it already cleared the line, or had it. Kick to the corner, the referee saying, hey, what are you doing here, bud? He was saying, I thought it was a corner. But not a bagel corner kick. Strike me as an appreciation of Little John wouldn't be surprising. Am I off base?
Well, let me counter that with a, do you not appreciate Little John?
Well, I think, you know, he's the perfect add to whatever just happened. My goodness, we've called a handball. It's on Corey Bennett.
It's well away from the penalty box.
I think Corbin May had a wry smile because I think he heard something from someone. Sacramento fans are probably cursing their TV out right now at that thought, but
there's always a healthy appreciation for Lil John when it's timed right.
We're still on it. I like it.
Never got to finish the point.
No. Well, flutters down to Cicerone. May we offer you the incoming Louis Jameson to replace Luis Felipe. Today's substitutions are brought to you by BBSI.
Felipe really had the best chance of the night off that half volley. Fresh legs for Jameson, see what he can provide to this midfield.
Jameson scored in the second half off the bench. 2-0 win at Colorado Springs last weekend. And the finisher from Cicerone in the 84th to put it out of reach. It's the reigning champion Switchbacks, who fumbled another 3 points tonight. They are on 31, and Orange County right behind them is a point back with 2 in hand. Oakland is 2 points back with a game in hand. And if this scoreline held, Monterey Bay would be sitting 5 points off the line. Colorado Springs 1 fewer games played. Bounced off of Jameson. I was asking Neil Collins, Jameson's starting to score. You bring Corey Bennett in. He goes, we're trying to have as many guys in the best attacking form at the end of the year as we can. Some of those great Neil Collins teams, you think about Seba Guenzati and, I mean, Cal Jennings, they had some great scorers, but they also seem to get goals from everywhere.
And that's important because when you rely heavily on one player, you need that form. You need their form to be top of the game when you need it to be in that playoff push in those big moments. But when you have multiple guys that are able to put the ball into the back of the net and multiple players that are feeling confident in that, then it just allows you to do so much more. Then you're not so reliant on one player. And then especially when you're talking about defensively on the flip side, if you have guys that are buzzing and that are confident and they're attacking against you and anybody can score and anybody can pop up, that makes it so much tougher on you defensively. But on the flip side, offensively, they can't eliminate one player. They can't take one player out of the game. They can't really focus on one player, because the more that you focus on one player, if the other guys are feeling confident, then there's really not much you could do, because you have goal scorers all over the field.
Yeah, I mentioned that 2022 Open Cup run and the goal for Luis Felipe against the Galaxy. He scored 3 goals in that run. So Rodrigo Lopez deservedly was named player of the tournament for that effort, going to the final and falling to Orlando City, and that was under Mark Briggs' tutelage 3 years ago. But Sebastian Herrera was scoring and Roro was scoring, and you got those 3 critical goals, including the lightning bolt from Luis Felipe. It was all over the field.
Well, and it's also, too, it just speaks into the player's confidence level, because offensively, of course, if you're winning, the team's feeling good, but offensive players, they need to be scoring goals to get themselves feeling like they're in that rhythm, like they have that really good confidence, like they're building that momentum. So if you have multiple players that are putting the ball into the back of the net, and multiple guys that are scoring goals throughout the course of the season, and especially as the season starts to drag on towards those playoff times, then you have an entire offense that's feeling confident. They want to move the ball with one another. They're having fun with one another. Everybody's scoring goals, enjoying themselves. And that's when you find the teams that are really going to have that type of success.
Well, Jordan Stewart, Monterey Bay don't know it yet, but they're having a very good night. They're hanging in with Sacramento. If they can find a way to win this game, get on to 28 points, suddenly you are 1 game back of Colorado Springs with 3 to play. Again, no one's really taking the spots. Phoenix and Colorado Springs. Switchbacks have already lost. Phoenix down 3-1 coming out of halftime. They're 7-8. That glimmer of hope is going to remain for at least another week if they can get a positive result tonight, Monterey Bay.
And they're playing well enough. They're doing a good job tonight. They're sustaining this possession. They're really eliminated outside of that Felipe chance. Sacramento hasn't had too many chances, maybe a couple PK shouts, but the calls didn't go their way.
If you're going to have a ball drop for a half volley top of the 18 be your best chance, I think you're willing to concede that.
Absolutely.
Revelar plays square, Nolati plays over. Revelar! That is gorgeous football from Monterey Bay! They've got the lead on Sacramento with 20 minutes to play! The Union just will not go away. With 4 games remaining, their season perhaps hanging in the balance. As good a build-up as they've had.
And look at this run from Revelar, how he continues his run. The ball goes out to Scott. A beautiful one-time cross in from Scott. And look at how Revelar continues his run. He splits the defense. That ball comes to Scott. Look at that one-time touch right into that space, right into that right foot of Revelar, who's able to drag that shot towards the far post, off that little half-skip volley, far post. Nothing the goalkeeper can do about it. There'll be no shutout record tonight. Revelar doing such a good job. He's done a good job tonight. He's been buzzing the entire 90 minutes. Plays the ball out wide. Reconnects. Scott, great ball in. The run continues, splitting the center backs, and an absolute class finish on the tail end of that one.
Fly the flag. Played at Cal State Monterey Bay. And what a moment for Monterey Bay. Another healthy goal brought to you by Taylor Farms. And a not-so-healthy moment for Carlos Guzman, who just got knocked down. And a yellow card, a rarity in this game.
We were just talking about how Monterey Bay has played well. They needed to create that possession into chances. Spoke on it the first half. Needed to see more runs from the midfield, and that's exactly what Revelar does. If we get another look at it here, it's just that arm coming up.
And Corey Bennett goes into the book.
It's just that arm coming up, but we talk about that run from Revelar, but it's even the ball in from Scott. Scott out wide, off that one touch to split the ball like that right in front of the goalkeeper, onto the on-rushing Revelar, who that one touch finish, there's nothing the goalkeeper could do with that one. It's just a class goal all around.
Bennett was a trialist at Charlotte Independence, by the way, in League One. 2023 league runner-up. out of Radford. Signed to Vegas, back 14 goals in 33 games. Second biggest turnaround in the history of the league. The Lights went all the way to the conference final last year. And he's the midseason acquisition, but he's going to get a little bit of a reputation here sooner than later. Not just goal scorer. It's his 8th game. My man's got 4 yellows and a red. Dude's working on a yellow card accumulation suspension. He's going to be here for a third of a season.
Go hard or go home?
Yeah, that's right. That's work hard, play hard right there. Not that Carlos Guzman felt that was work or play. Felt that was a flailing elbow that caught him.
You many yellow cards I had in my career, my MLS career?
Not nearly enough, I'm sure.
0.
Wow. Reds?
0.
Oh. Header lobbed back, diving header away. Wouldn't have picked you for choir boy, but that's all right. That's great.
Last checked, I hold the record for most minutes played in MLS with not ever getting a card.
Wow. You know, you just...
I saw that on MLS Ref's Twitter not too long ago.
So I think it probably stands. Jeff Attinella, MLS record holder alongside. Mike Watts as well. It's...
No one has to know what the record is.
No, but you do hold a record.
That way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I jointly hold an MLS record.
4.
Fewest minutes played, 0.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Along with everyone else who's watching tonight.
Two MLS record holders on the phone.
Yes. Somewhere at USL headquarters, they're going, what about our records? We thought we might see a record tonight, but Revelar throws a stake in the hopes of Danny Vitiello this evening. And still 6 games left. It's a shorter season than we've had in the past. 11 clean sheets, 14 is the record. Tomas Gomez holds that record. Unsurprisingly, they both came up through Pittsburgh.
And Evan Newton holds the record for career.
Along with Alex Timbakis, yeah. Tied right now.
Just amazed with Evan. Good guy.
Big Newton, agent now. Dude's out here running the game. Devin Kerr on USL All Access was saying if he were to have his inaugural Hall of Fame class in the league, Evan Newton would be first goalkeeper in. That Danny Vitiello should keep at this a little bit longer within the championship. Maybe the only active player that could jump him in the near future. Of course, the career shutout record would be one way of defining that. He was fantastic over the years, Newton, at Oklahoma City.
Great, a good teammate for you at the Rowdies. We've stayed tight. We've stayed in touch.
Who was starting?
He came in on loan, and I was starting. He came in on loan for the first year.
Want to check on it. Nalati and JJ intertwine. It's a free kick for Sacramento, who are going to go to their bench. Dominic Bonner coming in. Comes back into the team tonight. Replaces JJ. BBSI presents tonight's substitutions. Second sub utilized by Neil Collins. Bonner, the Borussia Dortmund Youth Academy product.
This moment where Monterey Bay really needs to be switched on. They haven't had to do too much defensively here in the second half. This is a set piece in a dangerous spot. If he's able to drop this ball right around that PK spot to these on-rushing runners.
Changed the angle a bit, and they had the right idea. Kerr tried to lay on to Jameson for the service.
You gotta get that ball into the box. You have all those numbers up top.
Spoken like someone who would maybe go a different approach if you're playing eFootball, because eFootball is here, Jeff. You can live your dream all over again and rep your team. Play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball, as you know, free to play. Download now. Those Monterey Bay fans are shouting, "We can't hear you," at the Sacramento fans, which is Really the beauty of having an away day that doesn't take a plane to get to. Trying to play Bennett. Robinson. Backstopped and booted through. Lopez couldn't connect. Nalati. Second goal would go a long way for a Monterey Bay team trying to inch a game over the line here. And Vidiello will snap this up. Revelar was making the run out of midfield.
I think on that one, you just put your foot on the ball and bring it back around. Sacramento had the numbers back defensively. They did a good job getting the ball out there, did Monterey Bay, but put your foot on the ball, you're up 1-0. No reason to turn that ball over. Easy ball for the goalkeeper to gobble up, and then you have Sacramento here off and running a little bit. Those are the types of moments we talk about Monterey Bay and trying to develop into what it takes to be that winning team, building that winning culture. You're up 1-0, must-win game. I'm not saying now's any time to put your foot on the brakes or anything like that, but just a little bit more in-game recognition. You see that you have nobody into the box. Instead of putting that cross into the goalkeeper, put your foot on the ball, bring that ball back around, sustain a little bit of that possession, eat the clock up a little bit. And again, here they are on that counterattack.
Johnny Klein flying forward. Klein double teamed and ripped away by Sacramento, who lived to fight another day.
Just got to see something. Good job defensively from Sacramento making that recovery, but you got to see something out of that. Maybe a shot on goal, sustain that possession a little bit more, just something a little bit more threatening.
Lopez blockaded, commits the foul. And a yellow card. I think that's more for the dissent than anything. Now he's explaining what the foul was for, that tug from Lopez. 6th yellow for the Sacramento captain this year.
He's been frustrated for most of the night. There's been a lot of conversations with the referee there. Easy call there for the ref. Frustration starting to boil over a little bit there.
By the way, big goal just got scored in the Western Conference. Ethan Zubak has scored for Orange County. They now lead after an hour against Charleston. So they're up 1-0 there. That would catapult them to 7th. Oakland is still ahead, so Monterey Bay hoping that Charleston could handle business tonight and stay alive in the Shield race. Possible that Orange County may soon elude them with all the games they still have to play. The playoff line would move up to 32. Colorado Springs would drop out for the time being. Meanwhile, for Charleston, that means they are in essence 10 points back, inclusive of the tiebreaker of Louisville City. Louisville can win the Shield next week if that scoreline holds. Here's Scott. Nalati, Klein! Oh, you gotta be aware behind the goal. Oh.
Nalati's been busy here in the second half, doing a good job creating him and Scott as well. Klein making this overlapping run. Just hits it with the outside of his foot. Did he say that with his hand?
He did. I thought that hit the guy behind him. That guy looked like he got sniped. He didn't.
I think that was a save.
Yeah, it was.
It's a big time save. Getting your hands up, good stuff.
Wow. I mean,
the reaction time there too.
Yeah.
You're not expecting that shot coming at you.
No, the two goalkeepers started pretty good, but that's like maybe his 3rd best save of the night.
That was big time.
Wow.
Klein would definitely like to have that one back though. You're sitting in front of the net like that. He hits it off the outside of his foot. Nalati's doing a good job here in the second half, being a facilitator for this group.
Spoke to Nate Miller. He said, I saw Xavi at a park at 15 years old. He was the assistant at the time for San Diego Loyal, and he went and told their then head coach, Landon Donovan, I saw this kid in a park. We should sign him. Actually scored 2 goals September 20th of 2023. A little over 2 years ago against Monterey Bay with San Diego in their final season. course, jumping into this group now for 2 seasons.
It's something that the USL has done a great job of, is identifying players in unique places. Because there's so many different pockets of this country where you can find players, and the USL has given a lot of these players opportunities. They've done a good job of trying to identify these players that a lot of times they don't get seen. So you see a player at a park that you think deserves an opportunity. There's a lot of players playing at parks throughout this country that deserve opportunities. So the USL's done a good job of identifying players like that.
Yeah, we don't need 28 talent centers. We need 100.
It's one of the thought we talked about with the travel aspect of it, but the scouting aspect of it too is very difficult because the country's so big.
Sacramento trying to find an equalizer here inside 10 minutes to play. Won't come on this effort. Subs coming in for Sacramento. This is the end of the line for them, their final sub window. Blake Willie, who's just been excellent, 18-year-old from Sacramento. He's been a fairly regular starter this year, replaces Rodrigo Lopez. Subs tonight brought to you by BBSI. And then Benitez replaced by the loanee from Seattle, Cody Baker.
It's going to be a big test here for Monterey Bay. We talked about what it takes to get 3 points, needing to get 3 points in this game. How have they learned throughout the season? How have they developed for these moments?
Danny Vitiello is down. Your first hope is that this is a pseudo-tactical timeout, nothing more than that. I was talking with Jill Lloyden, former U.S. national team goalkeeper, talking about the growing trend of goalkeepers taking a seat to offer a tactical break for coaches to pull out the whiteboard. The NWSL, she said, you know, we need to take a player off the field when this happens, like it would be for anyone else if there were a play without a card. I said, well, who would you take off? Like, how do you decide that? She goes, I decide. And so, Jeff, I want you to decide. Maybe not this particular instance, but in the future, Vitiello's back up, which of course is the most important thing.
So if there's a delay, the goalkeeper does a delay. Not saying that he did that in that moment. But if there is a delay that seems intentional, you pull a player off.
Yeah.
Is there a designated time? Did you guys decide that amount of time?
No, we didn't get that far. You want to throw a number at it?
I think 5.
Wow.
Or no, wait, you can.
No, that would take it. I mean, that'd take it out of the game for sure.
I think 5.
The longtime coach at Texas A&M, G. Guerreri, said there should be a sin bin for tactical fouls, 2 minutes.
Okay, I like 2 minutes better. Probably.
Yeah. I think that's a decent idea. Scott Chasinger. And Vitiello sends this away. So how about we tell you that the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. You can catch live matches, the expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com, USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Xavi Nalati was excellent tonight.
Excellent. He was a difference maker here in the second half. He's doing such a good job of picking that ball up from the midfield, not only breaking lines with his pass, but being able to break lines with his dribble as well.
Anton Soyberg comes on. Substitutes brought to you by BBSI. Soyberg's 9th appearance off the bench in 23 games played. 5 goals, couple assists.
This is an energy sub here. Soyberg's going to have to do a good job chasing the ball down. He's going to be the person that's going to be applying that pressure to Sacramento, not making anything easy for their back line.
And here's the thing, right? You come in at 87 minutes, your job isn't to score a goal anymore.
Run. Your job is to run, your job is to work, and your job is to apply that pressure.
Comes off a stint in the Faroe Islands. Played in Iceland and Denmark. See if the Dane can maybe provide the knockout punch, but at minimum, provide the energy he's bringing right here.
That's exactly what his role is. Put that work in. Put that work in defensively. Do the work. The rest of your team has been out there for 88 minutes now. do that hard work that they have tired legs with.
And don't think your teammates don't notice. That was the first sub by Monterey Bay. They may save the rest to try and whack some time off the clock here at the end.
Normally you used to see more subs, but I think the team has been playing in such good rhythm that it was tough to disrupt it at any moment during the game, especially once you get that first goal.
What a run by Fongo. And now through for Scott. Vitiello comes racing off his line and puts this out to touch.
That's great goalkeeping there. It's a good run there from Fongo. It looked like Scott was in on net, but quickly coming off of his line. Look how quick he's able to close that gap. The starting position had to be perfect in order for that to happen. Here we have another player.
Well, and you talked about rhythm. Now you're trying to sap the game of rhythm. So if you have that perfect opportunity, go for it. But if you're Monterey Bay and you just watched a three-point performance elude you this time last weekend, take a knock, take a second.
A little bit of gamesmanship here.
Use the subs, right?
Use that energy, use the subs. I always think in these moments, though, because the stoppage time is going to get added on anyway, so.
No, I would have waited another minute to go down, but.
You also could have a cramp.
And indeed, enough of a cramp to be worthy of being brought off the field here. So the second window utilized by Monterey Bay comes at 89:30. Johnny Klein gave a great account of himself tonight. He takes leave, and in comes Joel Garcia Jr., Salinas kid, former San Jose Academy player, played at San Jose State. And unsurprisingly, I asked Jordan Stewart, what do you get from Joel Garcia? He said 100% effort. Well, here we go.
Here's the time for it.
Fourth player to jump from Monterey Bay to the second team into the first team. 6 added minutes. Monterey Bay is about to see a tempest. Sacramento trying to avoid what would be a doubly disappointing defeat in the sense that Tulsa opened the door for the first time all year for Sacramento to come take first place on their own merit. One win in their first 6 had many thinking that first place in the West could be out of reach by the time they hit top form. And yet here they are tonight, 6 points behind Tulsa, but they finally had the 2 games in hand. They're about to let one slip away. Feels like a great time for a bagel corner kick. Wow. How? That's wild. What a way to be offside.
You don't see that one often.
No. I can't remember the last time I saw it. And it's not like you played it 5 yards up the line and back at me. It was like 6 inches. That's wild. Even the linesman had a giggle. And then Gurr unable to connect, and he and Jamison are not on the same page right now.
I don't think that linesman's seen that for a while either. No. You can tell that there's frustration. There's frustration on the Sacramento side.
Campazano's going to get a talking to for time wasting. There's the ball back, right? He's on the line. There's not 2 defenders behind him because there's nowhere for them to be unless they're hiding in the bleachers.
With Sacramento, they must have had nobody on the post. They must have had everybody stepped up on the 18-yard box just a little bit higher from that spot. But again, you could tell. We talked about Sacramento, the opportunity that they have tonight, and of course there's still 3 minutes left. There's still time in this game for them to get an equalizer, maybe even a winner, but for me, the story so far has been about Monterey Bay. Monterey Bay's done such a good job tonight keeping that possession, making life difficult for the Sacramento group. Sacramento really hasn't found any type of rhythm throughout the course of this game outside of that half volley from Felipe. They really haven't had too many chances.
That's a foul. That's a card. In transition from Gurr. Goes with the yellow that Nico Campazano just picked up. for dissent on the other end.
Easy one there for the referee. Tactical foul, moment of transition. Gurr just clipping from behind. They get another opportunity for Monterey Bay to take the seconds. Garcia making that run.
Monterey Bay trying to win their 6th home game this season. A vast improvement from past years. Only 4 wins a season ago. 6 is their 2023 mark, the high water mark. 8 home wins in 2022, although that was in the elongated 34-game season. They would still have a chance to go set a new club mark for home wins if they were to win those final 2 home games. Do it in 2 fewer opportunities. Another Monterey Bay stretch with what's probably going to end up being another, 3-4 minutes. A time-wasting yellow card. Now this stoppage, the yellow card in transition. That's going to add up.
Somebody told Monterey Bay to stall a little bit of time here when you have those opportunities to be up 3-0.
So that's what they
get
have.
The 3 points.
They have us on in their earpiece on the bench. Sounds like something we were just talking about.
It's a big one, though. This is a big one here for Monterey Bay. They're doing a good job. Again, you guys stay switched on here.
Jamison, Cicerone running down the middle. They were the 2 goal scorers last weekend against Colorado Springs. Pump back down the line. Gurr. That got deflected by Garcia. It's still on for Sacramento. Jamison picks his head up. Plays it square. Revelar got a piece. Ross kept it alive. Scott nods it forward. Ross sticks a foot out. And bypassing Willie and all the way downfield where Scott is chasing. Under a minute officially remaining, and then it'll be up to the referee.
Good job there defensively from Monterey Bay. It looked like Sacramento was going to get themselves an opportunity. Oh, looks like Revelar might have taken one there.
He did. He nearly got decapitated. Came in full speed, and we are far from done tonight because we're about to get into that weird nebulous place where there was a minute remaining on the clock, and then there's the stoppages that have gone on. Suddenly, this could hit 98 real quick.
Oh yeah, just right off the face there, just coming in. Not too sure what everybody's frustrated about.
Revelar just got stretched out, and his night is done. He's going to join the walking wounded at the end of this night. Ethan Bryant coming in off the bench, the 24-year-old from Texas, who was the League One Player of the Year in Richmond, spent the last couple years in Kansas City, comes back off an injury layoff, last sub window. In theory, although if Revelar were to be experiencing head injury symptoms, it could open the door to an additional sub window and sub for each team. BBSI brings you the subs.
Great night for Revelar as well.
Not just the goal either.
No, he put the work in defensively, created offensively, solid overall performance.
Kleeman's frustration is evident.
Just haven't been able to find that rhythm, Sacramento.
Camposano has to be careful here. The support's behind him, but the referee in front of him knows he's already on a time-wasting yellow, and I think he just reminded him of that. Subs, a head injury. Time-wasting yellow, all in stoppage time. How much longer do we really have? Only one man knows, and it's Corbin May. Monterey Bay saying, surely this is enough. Forward for Sacramento. Still not a glance at the watch. There it is! It's full time! Monterey Bay from the bottom of the table shocks Sacramento! Adrian Revelar, a finish off a wonderful team goal in the 71st minute. As Monterey Bay, winners of their 6th home game this season and staying alive out west. And a massive 3 points lost to a nearby rival for Sacramento, who could have climbed within 3 points of the top of the West.
Monterey Bay does a great job tonight. They sustained the possession throughout the course of the game. They didn't let Sacramento find themselves in rhythm, and this was a result that they were able to get 3 points, a result that has been escaping them for so long this season. They ride this one out against one of the best teams in the league, showing what they are capable of, and it was a huge 3 points for this team. Well deserved at home. Did a good job keeping the lead throughout the course of the 90 minutes, and just give Monterey Bay all the credit of the world in a night like tonight. We talked about how these derby games, they mean a little bit something different. Monterey Bay keeps themselves alive with a solid performance. Give them all the credit. And for Sacramento, it's going to be one that they're left scratching their heads a little bit, wondering why they weren't able to pick up those points on Tulsa after they dropped theirs.
Sacramento will be scratching through the tape. There's probably a couple questions they're going to have for the professional refereeing organization at the end of the night as well. Monterey Bay cares for none of that. It is a win they had to have, and against a rival no less. And a hella good win for Monterey Bay tonight. We will wrap this one up on the other side of the break. Monterey Bay through Rebel R win this one 1-0.
Hi Monterey Bay FC fans, my name is Jeremy Vanderkratz. I'm the owner of Signs by Van, a local sign company that's been in business since 1981. With over 25,000 signs built to date, we have the largest running staff in all of Monterey County. But don't take my word for it. Have a look around Cardinelli Stadium and you'll see our craftsmanship all around you. Find your way in, find a drink, find your food, find your seat, and find us at signsbyvan.com.
Great win for Monterey Bay tonight. 1-0 over Sacramento. These are points that may end up stinging the Republic at the end of the year. It will extend Monterey Bay's hopes staying alive out west. Push for their first playoff appearance. And a good reason to smile tonight for Jordan Stewart and the home crowd as well. All right, how about we wrap this one up, taking a look at the full-time highlights. Mike Watts, Jeff Attanella, and well, plenty of action in this one, including inside the penalty area, although felt like the referee didn't feel nearly as much action happen as we did.
Yeah, this one is here to start the second half, and for me, this was one of the clearest ones we've had tonight. There were 2 or 3 that could have gone either way, but for me, this one was a missed call from the referee as this cross is coming in. But the referee decides to keep the whistle in his mouth, something that he did most of the night, especially when you're talking about in and around the area. And here we have Monterey Bay taking advantage of the opportunity. And look at this build-up here from Rebel R. Starts the ball in the middle. He's able to get this ball out wide from Scott. Rebel R continues his run right in front of that Sacramento defense. He's able to put this ball into the back of the net. Continuing his run. Look at this. Great run here from the midfield. Getting numbers into the box. That's something that we were calling for in the first half. They were able to do it time and time again in the second. And Rebel R puts this one pay dirt into the back of the net off that one-touch ball from Scott. Great finish. Great build-up. And a very well-deserved 3 points for this Monterey
Let's win out and find out. All right, that's it tonight from Seaside. Monterey Bay, long awaited win. 3 in their first 4. That's just their 4th in the last 23. And it's a 9-game winless run, and they do it against a regional rival who claimed the Helicup, but do so in defeat tonight. Monterey Bay, a 1-0 win over Sacramento. It is Revelar with a stunning finish to a wonderful build for the Union tonight. For Jeff Antonell, our whole team at Seaside, I'm Mike Watts saying so long. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.